we have one more. Ten Hag is coming to. I mean, he already arrived to Man United. He also showed great achievement at Ajax, and as we all know, Ajax and Netherlands football is very famous for tactical uniqueness. And then, how do you think about? I mean, how do you expect Manchester United would perform under the new manager next season?
Well, I think it's tough to predict how they'll perform, especially speaking now before we know precisely what the team will be. But I mean, I expect a big improvement. I think they've had a pretty good squad for the last couple of years and two managers who are just were completely out of their depth in Solskjaer and Rangnick. I really like what Ten Hag did at Ajax. I think there was great fluency and sophistication to their play. The build-up was really good. I love how varied it was in terms of players dropping in to build up, very patiently from the back. There were different eras in terms of how they played going forward. Sometimes they played without a conventional striker, sometimes with a proper number 9. The wingers were often doing interesting things. They were good at overloading down the flank and then switching very quickly to the other flank. There was rotation in midfield. I mean, at times they were kind of the complete team. They did everything really well. I think Manchester United, I don't think for Ten Hag, I don't think it's just teaching the players about how to play a new strategy. I think to a certain extent it might be actually teaching them how to be coached, because I think under Solskjaer there was a lack of a philosophy, I suppose, and under Rangnick I think was even more of a disaster. So I think a lot of the players will just have to kind of remember how to be coached, remember how to get instructions and follow instructions and carry them out on the pitch, because they just haven't been doing that, or they haven't had the opportunity to do that for the last couple of seasons. But I forecast a big improvement. I think there'll be a much, much better side next season. Okay.
When we talk about Man United, I mean, obviously, before you wrote the 2 books, your words on Park Ji-sung, was quoted for many Korean media, because you rate Park Ji-sung very highly. And then, but there are many fans who never heard of that, especially the young fans. So can you please tell me about your view on Park Ji-sung when he played for Manchester United? He was unique for what? What do you think?
Well, I almost think he was the best example of how Sir Alex Ferguson became such a good tactical manager. I mean, Park was a very, very talented player. When I saw him play for Korea or for PSV, he had great flair, he had great creativity, he was a bit of an individual genius almost. But I think for Manchester United, obviously there were players of a higher caliber like Ronaldo and Rooney and Tevez and Berbatov. And he really learned to accept his role. And his role really was to nullify opponents. And he became, a player who was often included in big games because he could do a particular job on an opposition fullback, sometimes even an opposition holding midfield player, and just shut them out of the game, and also offer great energy on the counter-attack, good decision-making on the counter-attack. He was versatile enough to play on either flank. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to take any player to kind of demonstrate what Sir Alex Ferguson was as a tactician towards the end of his career, I think Park's a great example, because he was able to sacrifice himself for the team. And I think it's fair to say if he wasn't playing for, at that point, the best team in Europe, if he was playing for, I don't know, 4th or 5th or 6th best team in the Premier League, then he would have been a different player. He would have been, maybe the team would be more built around him. He could, dominate the side. He'd be able to show his flair and his creativity. But he was a very selfless player, very hardworking player. And they're the players that tend to be very crucial in a tactical sense.
Yeah, maybe it could happen. But yeah, he got another career at Manchester United he played for the best team at that time. Okay, one more question about Park Ji-sung. I mean, still some Korean fans remember this article. You once said that in 2009, the Champions League final, one of the biggest mistakes from Sir Alex Ferguson was to substitute Park Ji-sung off Do you remember about the article?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think the issue there was they ended up with 4 forwards on the pitch. I think it must have been Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, and Berbatov. I think they had for the maybe final half hour of that game against Barcelona, and obviously Barcelona were so good in midfield at that point, and just kept the ball without Manchester United really being able to get it back. So, yeah, I mean, not necessarily just Park, but I can't remember who the other was. It Giggs maybe took off, but basically he ended up with 4 forwards and only 2 midfield players, and Barcelona just kept the ball for what seemed like the entire 20 minutes of the game.
Michael, I can ask you 100 questions more, but I know you must be very busy. So let me ask you the last question for today, and let's try to do this again later. So my last question today is, the thing is, Korean fans' biggest interest is Song again. So let's finish with Song. You said, Ji-sung Park he's quite unique, and so Alex Ferguson used him very well tactically. So I think Son is also very unique in that point of view. How do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. He's, I think, one of the most dangerous forwards that will be at the World Cup. So much to his game. The 2-footedness, I think, is very unusual. And yeah, can play various roles. Can play out wide, can cut inside. Like you say, when Kane's been away, he's always filled in really, really well. I think there was a time where people thought that actually Son was better when Kane wasn't there, which is funny the way we speak about them now, where, they have such a great relationship. So yeah, he's absolutely a unique player. And, is one of those players who can really make the difference at a World Cup. I mean, I always think when we assess teams ahead of an international tournament, we always look at how many kind of flair attacking players they have. But I think if you've got a solid defense and you've got one real star player in the final third, you can go a long way in a tournament. So, yeah, like I say, we'll have to wait and see how Korea do it at the World Cup. But yeah, having a player like Son, of course, can get you very far.
Thank you very much for today. And and let's keep doing this sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm more than happy to. Like I say, before the World Cup, I'll be a lot more clued up about everyone competing. And you'll have to tell me some things about Korea, because we don't know too much about them.
Anytime. I'm having an interview with FIFA tomorrow about South Korea's World Cup. So I also need to study a lot so we can share the information each other.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm always happy to do it. We should do it before the World Cup.